The Mattel lady like, okay, fine. And I said, no, I'm not making this up. I promise. So being oblivious to all that, I could just go and have a great time in the studio and not worry about the pressure. But it is an incredible process. And again, we are the last hand-painted, hand-drawn, full-length feature film for the studio. We are the last, so 1989.
Now, coverage like no other. Bringing you videos from the event floor. You're watching convention coverage.
Hello, friends. How's everyone doing? Yeah. So nice to get to see all of you. This is just in case I forget who I am, I think, is why it's up here. Just in case I forget my own name. But it's wonderful to be here with all of you. So safe and sound that we are, which is great.
Doing our best.
Hi. Distance. Safe distance.
Just being safe.
Yeah.
Just being safe. I don't, get to our show and then all of a sudden not be safe. That'd be bad.
That's right. I'm so impressed with how the wonderful promoter and SacAnime. This is my first time with SacAnime, actually.
Definitely.
Yeah, so fun. It's so fun. And, we're trying to make this work coming back after a year and a half. And honestly, I didn't know how successful it was going to be. And the last few weeks, there were a couple weekends that were a little tricky. I won't mention the name of the cities. But then I went to Kansas City, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, and it just felt super safe. And just really, I feel the exact same way this weekend. So I know the masks are annoying as all get out for all of us to wear. But, it's wonderful that everybody is thinking about each other, and we're doing this for each other and for our families. And this is how we are going to make this work in our new world, right? So anyways, I just want to say thank you. I know that it's a lot for the weekend, but we all really appreciate it, and we're grateful that we get to see each other in person instead of virtual. There were a lot of virtual fans that came up this weekend, and they said, I met you on virtual GalaxyCon, and now I'm here live and in person. So it is really neat to make that connection now.
Yeah, that whole last year of just all the computerized stuff, and it loses a little bit of that, I guess the best word would be intimacy, personalness. I mean, I know my girlfriend is a teacher, and she spent the whole school year teaching through Zoom, and she's like, don't tell me I have to Zoom something at all for any reason, because I won't do it. Yeah. She's so over it, and I can understand how you probably felt doing it.
It's really Zoom world for the year and a half was, of course, pajamas on the bottom and party on the top. So with the chip clip in the back, that was the must. The chip clip holding everything together in the back. But so now we have to really we have to get completely dressed, the top and the bottom, which we didn't have to before. But it's great to put faces and to actually make human contact in a safe way.
Did you have the same problem I had? Like, did your wardrobe of just like pajama bottoms exponentially go up?
Yeah, it was truly, I just had my Little Mermaid pajama bottoms that are like scales on the bottom. And then I just changed my top. And when I'd come down for breakfast to see my family, and they would see, party on the top, PJs on the bottom, chip clip in the back. They're like, oh, mom's going to work. She's going to work. That's what she looks like. So, so it's fun. It's really fun to get to be here this weekend.
And actually like to get to adult and dress up and like kind of go back to some semblance of normalcy. I mean, you guys feel okay with that? Like, I finally get to do something and be a person.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great. It's wonderful. Wonderful to get to see all of you. And I love all the costumes. I've met a bunch of beautiful Ariels and all of the different looks of Ariel. So it's a lot of fun.
That's great. I mean, definitely. I mean, I know the princess thing is a big thing. I mean, even like I said, even me, it's an important thing.
Yeah, we've been in this big ultimate princess celebration that's lasting like a whole year. So every day, if you follow any type of social media, you'll see all sorts of new and exciting things of how we at Disney are just trying to raise up awareness of our princesses and all the different wonderful character qualities of each and every one of them. And I think it's been a lot of fun. And we've had a lot of fun working on the projects.
That's cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, so we really do appreciate you all coming out and having a lot of fun together. And I always enjoy getting to do the panels because I do get to hear the questions of the fans and wonderful guests. And they always have some really great, wonderful questions for me that I get to think about. So do we want to start with the fan questions?
Yeah, we
That's
can
fine with
definitely
me,
do that.
If you want to.
You're all set,
Yeah.
go ahead, come on up.
I have a question, Jodi. What was it like working on The Little Mermaid? I just wanted to know.
Yes, it was really an incredible experience. I worked. I'll ask all of you this question. So, for our film in 1989, just give me a raise of hands. Do you think that we record the voice first? So think about whether we do the voice first or the animators begin on the page. So who thinks that we do the voices first? Okay. And then raise your hand if you think that the animators hit the pages first. Okay, great. That's really good. I love to hear, to see the answers to the questions because I love to be able to let you know how we make these types of films. So for almost all of our Disney films, you start with the voice first. So what they'll do is the animators will have pencil sketches, the little thumbnail sketches, and they have it on a storyboard on this big board, and they've got all the sequence of events that follow along with the script of what they're thinking. But they actually don't have their characters come to life until they hear the voice. And they don't really know what Ariel's going to look like until they go through the hundreds and hundreds of audition tapes for Ariel. So when my tape was selected from an old reel-to-reel, long, long ago is how we used to do it, then Glenn Keane, who is my lead animator, along with Mark Henn, then they listen to my voice over and over and over again, and they start to create what they were imagining Ariel might look like and how she might behave. So it is an incredible process, and again, we are the last hand-painted, hand-drawn, full-length feature film for the studio. We are the last, so 1989, because after that, we started to institute, CGI, computer-generated images, and special effects. So when you think about The Little Mermaid and you see all the bubbles under the sea, you can really appreciate that each one of those bubbles, the millions and millions and millions of them, are all drawn by hand. It makes our film quite special that we are the last one. So to answer your question, it was an incredible experience from start to finish. So I basically was in the studio for about 2.5 weeks over the course of 2.5 years. So again, it takes a while to animate a feature film, especially by hand. So it made it even more special and more magical. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it.
I actually got curious about the movie Thumbelina thanks to Brian Hall mentioning it in his podcast Bibbidi Bobbidi Bros. So here's my question. I know I can only have one question, right?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
For now.
So my question for you, Jodi, is any memories of your time during the production of Thumbelina?
Yes, great question. The biggest thrill for me with recording Thumbelina was actually getting to meet Barry Manilow in person and work with him. I grew up, I'm very old, so I grew up with Barry Manilow, and I had all of his long-playing albums, his LPs, and knew every lyric, I knew every song, and so when I found out, I didn't even audition for Thumbelina. Actually, they cast me from having just done Ariel, but they didn't want the sound of Ariel. But when I was like, well, how did I get this job if I didn't audition for it? And the directors, Don Bluth and John Pomeroy, were like, well, we heard Ariel, and so we knew Thumbelina was in there somewhere, and we're gonna have her come out. I'm like, okay. So the first day when I went to work, I didn't realize when I walked into the studio that Barry Manilow was going to be sitting at the piano as I walked in. So when I walked in, and I don't really get starstruck very often, hardly at all, And I don't know what happened, but I walked in and I saw Barry at that piano, and I kind of lost it. I mean, I think I started to cry. My legs were shaking, and I'm just like, I was not ready to see him in person. I couldn't believe it. So he stands up from the piano and he comes walking to the door. And he goes, "Oh, Jodi, we're so thrilled that you're our Thumbelina. I'm just the biggest fan, and I just loved you in The Little Mermaid, and I can't wait to work with you." And I literally was like, I mean, I couldn't even speak. And then I had to sing that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really hard. So here's Barry playing at the piano, and I'm sitting next to him on the piano bench, and he's playing the piano for me, and I'm singing. Oh my gosh, it was just a very surreal experience. So that's definitely the highlight of Thumbelina for me. Thank you for the question.
No problem. You
Thank
have
you.
sorry. God bless you. By the way, he
Thank
gave you
you.
a shout out on his podcast.
Oh,
That
great.
You're his favorite voice actress.
Thank you. That's so
God
sweet.
bless you.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
you.
And he's got that cute Disney bound going on with Ariel. Looks so cute. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I know I'm an anime person, but I'm a Disney person too.
Great.
I asked the question to the voice of Serena when she was here. In the film Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Air, were you surprised when you were playing Ariel again?
Oh, yes. Ralph Breaks the Internet was a really special project. So when I got the call that they were going to create this film where they were going to blend all of the princesses together, I just thought this was a genius, incredible idea.
I know. I don't know
So
whose
smart.
idea was that.
Yeah, so smart. And it was a brilliant concept. So when they called and said, Ariel needs to be part of the Princess Posse, I was like, absolutely. So we had a really good time in the studio. We were each by ourselves. It was just myself with our director. And we kind of just came up with the dialogue and the script then, and they let me kind of have the freedom, obviously,
Yeah.
of how I think Ariel would sound and how she would handle a script. Yeah, so it was fun.
I haven't seen any casual Ariels today, so
Yeah.
nothing yet. Quick question. Who's your favorite princess size Ariel?
My favorite Disney princess.
Yeah.
I grew up with Cinderella,
Oh.
so
Classic.
I really was partial to Cinderella just because when I was a girl, that was the Disney
Yeah.
movie, and I loved everything about that movie. Just thought it was so beautiful, and so yeah, she's still pretty special to me.
Mine's Mulan and Snow White.
Good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, honey. Hey,
Hi, Jodi.
Hello.
You look amazing.
thank you. You're so sweet.
So a lot of you were about 19 or 20 when you started in Ariel. I don't know if that was the right
So I
age
don't
or-
remember. I think I was older than that. I want to say maybe I was 22.
22. Oh my
something.
gosh. So I'm 23 right now,
Uh-huh.
and that's what kind of wisdom do you wish that you had known right before you started doing like voice acting for Ariel that you could pass on to any future hopefuls?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I had been doing Broadway musicals, and I had worked with Howard Ashman in a Broadway musical called Smile with Marvin Hamlish, who wrote the music, and I think that the thing that was tricky for me was to transition from Broadway to voiceover behind the microphone, because everything that I had learned about being on stage at the Lunt-Fontanne Theater and the amount of energy I needed and how I needed to project and how I needed to sing had to be thrown out the window and do something completely different standing behind the microphone. So thankfully, Howard Ashman, a genius, was my director and stepped in. Ron and John were my directors for Mermaid, but they were so gracious and let Howard be my director. So I had to kind of unlearn everything. And I think if my older self would tell my younger self now, just take a breath, nothing has to be perfect, and just do your best. But at that time, because I was doing a whole new way of communicating, I really beat myself up a lot. I really was unkind to myself when I was recording. And thankfully, Howard was so gracious that he would constantly say over and over again, it's great, honey, it's great. You're doing great. But I didn't feel like I was doing great. I felt like I was disappointing everybody, behind the glass. And so that's what I would tell my younger self is you don't have to be perfect. You just have to do your best. And nobody's perfect, and not every pass is going to be perfect. And I think I was just really, really hard on myself. So as I'm older now, I take things much easier with a grain of salt, sort of, and just try not to make anything such a big deal, you know? So that would be my wisdom I'd pass on. Thank you for the question. That was really good.
No problem. Thank
Very-
you for those comforting words. Like, definitely take those to heart. Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetie.
Hi there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Prince Eric. You look wonderful.
Thank you. So I first just wanted to say thank you so much for being such an amazing cultural part of the LGBTQ community. And what would you say it's like to make such a huge impact on it?
Yeah,
After
well-
making such a wonderful film and being
Oh,
part.
that's a very sweet question. Yeah, you know, the impact of creating a character like Ariel and being part of our classic film is, it's very life-changing, obviously. I mean, to think that I'm here 35 years after I started working with the company, I would never have guessed in a million years that I would be talking about Ariel, because when we did the film, we were all to remain silent. I mean, we were anonymous. You would never know. They were just going to run the credits at the end of the film. And then about 2 months before the film came out, we were doing screenings, and they decided to send me on a press tour where I did like 22 cities in 20 days. And I kept saying, like, why? Why are we doing that? Well, you're going to be publicizing this film. And I said, but I thought we were going to be anonymous. And they said, well, we've changed our minds on that. So I had no idea that my life was going to change that day and that I'd be here talking to you. So when you ask me a question like that, it's kind of unfathomable. And this is why I love coming to the conventions and meeting all the wonderful guests, because each time one of you come to the table to say hello or to get an autograph, you have a story to tell me. And the story is, where were you the first time you watched the movie? What were you wearing? Who were you with? You all have like this amazing, beautiful memory of the film and the character. And it's not me that you're connecting. You're connecting with Ariel. I just get to be a little piece of that wonderful, marvelous moment. And in some ways, I say this each time at a panel because I think it helps you to understand. It's kind of like you have opened up your life story and you've let me in, and I get to just sort of view it as a wonderful, like a gift. It's like a little gift. I get to go inside your heart and see how the movie and the character has impacted your life. That's the part that's so precious to me and is so beyond my little brain what I would have ever anticipated back in 1985 when I started working on the film. And as far as your first comment about the LGBTQ plus community, you know, honestly, my heart is, every day when I wake up, it's like, how can I love and serve people today? People. People. That's it. It's all of us. And we don't have to be separated and categorized with titles and labels and cultural stigma. You know, it's like, can we just love one another? Period, you know? And so I think that it's like, and especially like this last year and a half, and let me tell you, my kids, my son's 22 and my daughter is 20. And that generation, I forgot what this generation is called. I just read it the other night. It's not X, it's not millennials,
It's Gen Z.
what's it called?
Z.
Z. They're the Z.
Yeah, the kind of.
The number one thing about this generation, which my two children were born into, is that they are all loving and all inclusive. Inclusivity is huge, and justice. I just read this the other night, and I thought, oh my gosh, those are my kids. So they have actually taught my generation, because I'm a baby boomer, I think that's where I fall. I figured that out the other night. I didn't know I was a baby boomer. But I think that's where I sit with my birth year. And I'm learning from my kids how to love others well and how not to see people differently or hear them differently by their clothing, by the way they talk. They are teaching me so much. And I'm so very, very grateful. So I think our goal as a family is to love and serve others, deem one another more important than myself, and respect others. Like really simple concepts, but seems to be quite challenging right now, don't we think? I mean, and so anyways, I just wanted to address both of those aspects of your question, and I appreciate that so much.
Thank
you,
you.
Prince Eric. You look so good. Hi.
Hi. Quickly just wanted to say that you're my sister's favorite princess.
Thank you.
She wanted to be here, but unfortunately an accident happened and she couldn't be here.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's good. But I just wanted to ask, what has been your favorite part about being Ariel, the voice of Ariel?
Oh, let's see. My favorite part about being Ariel, well, I think it's all of you. And again, it connects the dots with all of you who have experienced the film. I didn't have that experience when I first started working on the film. It was really just a few years later that I started to see. Then you get 10 years later and you really start to look back. And now 30 plus years for me looking at it this time, it's just how this character makes people feel. Like when people come to my table, sometimes they just break down and start crying. And they don't know what has triggered that. And again, there's that little precious moment that I have the opportunity to watch them go on their little journey with remembering. So I think that really is the most special thing to me about being Ariel is how all of you connect to her and how you love her as a character. And I get to go along for the ride. So I think that's my favorite thing. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Hey, darling.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Evan. First of all, I wanted to say thank you so much. My mom has videos of me singing The Little Mermaid before I could talk at like 1-2 years old. And
Love that.
I love singing now. It's one of my best outlets. So thank you so much for that inspiration
Oh,
to
you're
get me
welcome.
really started, to get me to love singing.
Wonderful.
My question is, when it came to performing or singing, did you ever get like nervous or stage fright? And if so, like how did you manage to get past that to the point that you became like as successful as you were?
Well, that's a very sweet thing to talk about and to ask. Stage fright. Yeah, I think, sure, there are times I get nervous or excited. When I get nervous or a teeny bit anxious, it kind of helps to propel my energy level so that it doesn't work against me. But I also, and this is just for me, I'm a person of faith. So for me, I feel like God has really given me my voice to share as a gift. And I feel like it is my purpose to share my gift with people, and to just offer it as like a sacrifice. It's sort of like a sacrifice of praise for me. So I think what happens when I start to sing, I kind of go away. You know, it doesn't really become about me or a performance. It really becomes like an act of worship almost for me, where I feel like I'm singing, and if it touches your heart, that's awesome. But it's not so much about me in a performance as much as just enjoying the song and the music. So once I switch my gear and stop thinking it's all about me and everybody's looking at me and what do they think about me, if I get myself out of the equation and I just think about the audience and what a wonderful group of people, and I hope this song is a gift and a blessing to them, then it helps me to take a deep breath and just kind of calm down. I know that's kind of a, sort of an ethereal way, but it's kind of how I work through the process. Yeah, so
Yeah,
thank you for your
that's
question.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Keep singing.
I will. Thank you.
Hello, Miss Jodi.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, so what I want to know, despite being Ariel and being the iconic woman that you are, I wanted to know, how did you land your role into Pixar's Barbie, and how it was like working with Pixar and going from 2D to 3D?
Yes. I did not audition for Barbie in Toy Story 2 or 3. Again, it was one of those really unbelievable things where the director and the producer of Pixar and of Toy Story 2 watched The Little Mermaid, and they heard Ariel, and I got the call saying, we want you to be the voice of Barbie. And I said, but I didn't audition. And they said, that's okay, we know Barbie's in there somewhere, we'll find her. And I was like, okay, this is like getting to be a running thing now. So the first day of work, I went, and we had a box of Barbies, Barbie dolls, and we started, the director and the producer and myself, played with the Barbies, and we started to talk to each other. And it was really silly, and it was super fun. So we kind of came up with something, but the representative from Mattel was there in the recording studio, and she sat down with me and said, I just want you to know that this is a really important thing. This is the first time that Barbie has ever had a voice. And I kind of had to say, ma'am, I'm so sorry, but actually, back in 1980, whatever, I did the voice of Barbie in your workout video, which is like this VHS workout video. And it's like a claymation kind. It was so funny. And she didn't know that. So I actually did give Barbie her first voice, just not in Toy Story. It was in this workout with Barbie video. So that was kind of, you could see the Mattel lady like, oh, okay, fine. And I said, no, I'm not making this up. I promise. I really did do the voice of Barbie before, but we're going to make it unique for this film. And I think the most important thing that we tried to do with Barbie is to make her real and authentic and not plastic. And we didn't want to make fun of her or like mock her. We wanted to give her substance and make her we wanted to make her real, And I think we accomplished that with a tremendous amount of humor, obviously. And recording Barbie was really fun because I always stand up when I'm in the studio, and because I'm a stage person, I act everything out physically, which is hard when you hit the mic like this all the time with my hands. So I'd have to, get the hands down, okay. But with Barbie, I really did become Barbie, like my knees and my elbows. The whole recording session, I would create, because obviously she can't, do that with her arms. So we just kind of came up with this voice, and everybody was happy. So I'm like, you're happy, I'm happy, this is good. But it is weird when you don't audition for something, because you don't really know what they want, and they don't know what they want until you get in the studio. So you just have to sort of experiment. Yeah. But anyways, it was an incredible, incredible opportunity with Pixar, and absolutely loved getting to do Toy Story 2 and 3. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Oh, you're Anastasia.
Yeah.
Yes. You look awesome.
It was so last minute, I couldn't get a Thumbelina cosplay.
Oh, but you look fantastic.
Thank you. Well, hi. Thumbelina is one of my favorite films. I know two of the songs from it, Soon and then the Sun Reprise. I really love the film. And I was wondering, did you ever get a costume to wear to do rotoscoping so that the animators can draw over that?
That's great.
Yeah.
I did not get to be the live-action reference model for any of my characters. I know Barbie didn't have a live-action reference model. I'm not sure. I believe Thumbelina might have had, but Ariel did. Sherry Lynn Stoner. She was the live-action reference model for Ariel, swimming in a tank with hair to try to get all that, the intricate detail for the animators, which was amazing. But no, that would have been so fun. Thank you for your question. I appreciate that.
All right.
Oh, is there anything else? Oh, sorry.
I I kind of had a second question.
Oh,
'cause
sure,
I didn't
sure,
know
that's
if it was like yes or no.
That's okay.
What was your favorite song to sing as Thumbelina?
I think I really enjoyed Soon because I think Barry really loved that song, and it was kind of that I Want moment, which I love the I Want songs, like Part of Your World, where you can really kind of fall in love with the character and hear their heart and then root for them and cheer them on, throughout the whole film. Plus, I got to sit and listen to Barbara Cook record Soon, who was absolutely brilliant, and I was a huge fan of hers before she passed away, and she's just a Broadway icon. And so to be in the studio and listen to her record the song was really glorious. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Sure,
Bye.
thank you. Hey.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here. And I just want to say, just always have enjoyed your work for all the years, all your voiceover work. But I have a little bit of a different question that I don't know if you've ever maybe been asked, but this is going back a little ways. But I wanted to ask about your audition or being chosen for the role in Caroline in the City.
Oh my gosh.
Being the mom in Caroline in the
I don't
City.
even remember. I don't think I had any lines. I think I must have had an audition. I would have had to have had an audition of some sort.
And what I thought was kind of interesting was you are very similar in age to Leah Thompson, and to be cast as her mom, you do look very.
Well, I was
looking
actually
very wonderful and so forth.
You're sweet.
And such.
Actually, I was not Leah's mom. I was just a mom in the park with some kids of my own. But I don't even think. I mean, I may have had like one line or something like that. I don't even remember. But I do remember that Leah was, because it was her show. So when any guest artists or guest spot people came onto the show, she was so kind and so gracious. And I hadn't done TV, live action TV. So she was really, really kind to me. But yeah, I think I just sat in a park. I played a mom and with kids in the park, and maybe I had one line. I really don't remember. I have to find it somehow, right?
Right.
Thank you so much.
I didn't remember if you were her mom.
Yes, I know.
Or if it was another mom, but you look very similar as well, so you very well could have been. But anyway, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hey, Jodi. I was going to ask about what it was like working with Howard Ashman, but I feel like you answered that really well in a past question. So instead, I've got a dumb but quick one. Which prince did you like better, Prince Cornelius or Prince Eric?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I think like personality-wise and probably just like the storyline of everything, I probably enjoy the character of Prince Eric, just because you kind of see the growth that he goes through as well, and sort of like his journey throughout the script. I think he has a little bit more depth of character, within the script. So I guess I'd have to pick him.
Cool, thank you.
But don't tell Prince Cornelius I said that. Okay.
I wanted to know about the sequence of The Little Mermaid. I'm curious if you recorded it the same sequence as the sequence of the movie, and whether or not the songs were all done before you started the recording session.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Thank you so much. Actually, the first day of rehearsal, we all sat as a cast in the studio together and did a read-through of the whole script like a Broadway show. And we had, we also went through our songs with Alan. I think Alan and Howard were both, maybe Alan wasn't there, but Howard was there. And we went through all of the script and all of the songs as a whole cast. Then we immediately, after the break, started to record the dialogue first together simultaneously with plexiglass in between us. So that was kind of a first for to record two characters back and forth at the same time. But that helped us as a Broadway show, which what makes our movie so unique is that we combine a Broadway musical with a feature animation film, blend that together, and that's where Howard's genius is shining through. So it was really approached chronologically from the front of the script all the way through. Then after those 3 or 4 days, then we started breaking down and recording individually, and with the song was added. So Part of Your World actually came after most of my dialogue was finished. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Hi, I am giving you the right to refuse to answer this question, and I will walk out of this room, and you will never see from me again if you hate it that much. But I am just curious. When you worked on the 2002 made-for-TV animated film, Rapsittie Street Kids Believe in Santa, what went wrong? What went wrong? That's all I want to know.
I know, isn't that crazy? It's so funny because I am horrible. I have what we call a BC brain and an AC brain. I have before children brain and I have an AC after children brain. So my after children brain has kind of taken over. So anything that happened before 1999, it's like I have absolutely no recollection of, which is so sad. But it's also because I homeschooled our kids for 17 years between the two of them. So my brain just got all used up as a homeschool teacher. So with a project like that, you know, when you're working with an agent and there is work to be found and you're grateful, you don't really turn things down that often, especially back then with voiceover, because voiceover, when I started, was not celebrity driven. It was all just regular working actors and actresses like myself. And we're just, paying our bills and paying our insurance and meeting our quota with our agents, trying to keep our agents. So the opportunity to read a whole script didn't exist. So I probably went in and read maybe 3 lines, maybe 4 lines. I probably didn't get the whole script. Did I sing in that?
I think you did.
I think I did. So I probably would have sung maybe, a few measures of a song. Then you get the call, you got it. Well, then you go in and you kind of read the whole thing and you're like, well, sometimes these things are good, sometimes these things aren't so good, but you're like, I'm getting my paycheck, I'm paying my agent, I'm paying my bills. So yeah, there are going to be those times in the course of your whole career that there are projects that you kind of go, well, I've had great Broadway shows and I've had big flop Broadway shows. So it all kind of gets mixed up together. So that's probably what that project would be, not one of the stronger ones, shall we say.
Okay, thank you. I should have known something was wrong from the get-go when the opening credits had Comic Sans font.
Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it.
So, as you've mentioned, you've had a illustrious Broadway career before Little Mermaid, and as an actor myself in theater and a BA as well, I would like to know what your fondest memories are besides Smile and Howard Ashman. What other shows did you have memories of?
I had an opportunity to do a Broadway show called Crazy for You, which was a Gershwin musical, and I did that from 1990 until 1994, and that was really a dream come true, to be able to create a Broadway leading role, to be nominated for a Tony Award, to win the Tony Award for Best Musical. We sang at the Kennedy Center Honors. I mean, for me to sing at the Kennedy Center Honors to Miss Ginger Rogers, the song that she made famous when she was 18 in Girl Crazy on Broadway was a dream, So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. That was an amazing Broadway show. Loved going to work every single day. It was so full of joy. And to sing classic music like the Gershwin brothers is just a dream for a singer. So yeah, that was a really amazing miracle job. I'm very thankful.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I have a bit of a similar question.
Sure.
What was your life like as a singer? Like, what kind of schools and training did you go through? And what kind of, did you go on any gigs? How did that sort of lead you to being recognized and being picked up for these major voice acting
Well, that's a very
roles?
Nice question. I did not have any training. I did not get voice lessons or anything like that until I went to college. And I had a wonderful voice teacher that I worked with in college for the year and a half that I was there before I started working professionally. And he really taught me so much. But I just kind of came out of the womb singing as a kid, untrained. I'm sure I made a million mistakes vocally, but he really, really helped me to get on track. And so once I was with him, I had gotten a national tour, and then from that, got my first Broadway show by the time I was 19. And it's been an incredible, a beautiful journey ever since then. I'm so thankful. Yeah, thank you for your question. I appreciate that.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. So let me just say that your voice work as Ariel and Barbie are very phenomenal. Me and my family would watch The Little Mermaid a lot as kids.
Thank you.
And yeah, Little Mermaid is just a very great Disney movie.
Thank you.
But question time. Was there any pressure with approaching a character like Ariel and working with a company like Disney for the first time?
Personal pressure for me?
Just pressure in general.
No, I think because I really didn't know what I was doing, and I thought it was going to stay anonymous. I didn't feel the pressure that would be on my shoulders, and I really didn't know that Walt Disney Feature Animation had been moved off the lot from the Disney Studios, and that Disney Animation itself was in a very difficult situation. So being oblivious to all that, I could just go and have a great time in the studio and not worry about the pressure. But I'm sure all the powers that be around me had that pressure on them, knowing that this film was probably going to make or break the studio. So, but I felt so thankful that I didn't know, that I was ignorant to all of that, and I could just go and do my do my best work.
He took a damn good risk.
Thank you so much for the question. I appreciate it.
Hi, Miss Jodi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm starstruck.
Oh,
to be
you
honest.
look adorable. I love your outfit.
Thank you. I'm an early 90s kid, so Disney was my entire life for most of my childhood. So Little Mermaid was one of the first movies that I ever saw in my entire life. Oh, great. And I've just, oh man, it doesn't feel real right now. But I guess my question would be, with right now, a lot of what they're doing right now is revamping some of the old classics by doing live action versions. And then, so in the next year or so, or the end of this year, we're supposed to be seeing a live action of The Little Mermaid. Has Halle Berry or any of the directors in that movie reached out to you about your own experience, see if they can get any insight from you on the original Little Mermaid?
Well, actually, the director, Robbie Marshall, and the producer, John DeLuca, are old friends of mine. So I've known them for probably almost 40 years from Broadway. And we have connected through email. And just to say, a huge congratulations to them. So I'm so happy for Rob and John. And I know it's going to be an amazing film. And we're all excited to get to see the live action version. And knowing that they are at the helm of this particular project, that Little Mermaid is in great hands with them. They don't need my advice. They're both really, really brilliant and so talented. And they have an amazing cast, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
So I know The Little Mermaid has 3 movies and obviously a lot of stuff to it. But what we don't have is a sequel to Thumbelina.
Right.
And I have always wondered, what would you do if they decided to do a sequel? What would you want to see in a sequel for Thumbelina?
A sequel to Thumbelina would be great, wouldn't it? That would be fun. Well, she and Cornelius would be together, obviously, so we would probably see what their kingdom is like in fairyland and see what their next step of their future is with having the little fairies of their own, maybe. It would be neat, though. It would be neat. I'm sure the music, if it could be Barry again, would be fantastic. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I hope you have had a great weekend.
Yes, I've had a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. Okay, one more question, I think.
Yeah, we just have the one more, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hi, really quick. Smile the musical. Were you aware of the movie before you did the musical, and what part did you play?
I was aware of the cult movie of Smile. I played Doria Hudson from Yuba City, and I'm not sure if that correlated to the film or not, but my character was created specifically then to sing the song Disneyland that was written for me, which is a really beautiful I Want song. And Doria was a great character. You know, she wanted so much to be loved and to be accepted and to be approved. And realizing she's going about it in the wrong way with the external part as opposed to having people get to know who she was on the inside. So it was a really great character to play with a lot of depth within the character and a lot of growth for her within the musical. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great underrated movie. Thank you.
Another big round of applause to Jodi Benson, everybody.